everyone. Welcome to this very, very new adventure that we've taken up, known as the Women at Work series. For everyone who's joining in, there is a slight glitch that we have today, but live with it, work with us. You can just rename if you see your name is incorrect. You can just rename yourselves using the top right corner of the black box that you see with your name, and we can move forward. So introducing myself quickly, I'm Neha Singh, founder of Womoneysta, a platform which is empowering and enabling women to take charge of their finances. And this is an exciting new initiative, something that I've been wanting to do for so long, and finally it's fructified, where we will bring in very, very successful women who've been able to navigate their careers, overcome many challenges. And many of us want to learn, take away something, hear something that maybe we needed to hear when we are stuck in our careers. And with us for the very first talk, I have someone who has navigated her career across multiple roles. Anindita Guha is an international head of product and marketing for Gupshup, which is a tech unicorn, and it's leading in terms of global conversational messaging. So my understanding, Anindita, is that all those bots that we are now seeing on WhatsApp, etc., which are helping normal people like us, small business owners, I think that's what we're talking about in lay terms, right? And I also noticed, which stayed with me, is that your career has been unusual. Someone who's come from a non-tech background, who's now heading product in a tech unicorn company, where you even worked from a content writing position to community management. And that's the journey, actually, Anindita, which I wanted to start our conversation with. And of course, happy for you to tell all our audience today a little bit about your background and also how you've navigated your career path. So all yours, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Neha. First and foremost, congratulations for putting this together. Like we were chatting a little while ago, it's we are so busy with our lives and our work that we just forget how much we can give together as a community. So congratulations. It's a wonderful format. The team is amazing. And what you guys are doing here is really, really nice. Secondly, thank you again for giving me that introduction, because I don't know if all of that is true. Just kidding. But but I think, yeah, I guess I'm a simple person doing my job, and that's how probably you should look at your career, because you should have some fun, and I guess I was just having fun all through. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I love that. I love that. Like I agree. Like if you have fun, I think so. My work is no longer like work as such. And you just end up wanting and doing more and taking on more. But one of the things that I actually wanted to, talk specifically about is how has this navigation across various roles been? What are the things that you think have really, helped you about both ways, like things that you have probably taken up yourself, as well as maybe the other side of the kind of people that you met, the kind of alliances, the bridges that you built. So if you could share with the audience today around both these things, the way that they can move forward, as well as how to use the environment that they're in to leverage, their own growth as well in their careers.
Well, yeah, I think it has two sides to it. When you are going for work or when you have a career, there is so much that is at play. There is your work pressure, your ambition, your career path, your expectations from life. So all of that creates like a very complex environment, and at least for me, I think the way I took it is that you don't think of those as career moves at that point in time. You pick those up as challenges. And probably they become career moves in retrospect.
Interesting. So was there any time, Anindita, where you felt like I'm taking this up? I'm not sure if I'm like 100% equipped for this, because I've read a lot of research around imposter syndrome, especially with women at work. So just wanted to bounce this off with you, like personally for you, as well as, with observation in the environment with other women. Have you noticed that this is really like it is a reality? Does it really happen? And for you personally, was that the little difference that you were taking up things even when you felt, I'm not sure if I'm 110% ready for this?
Yeah, I think it's also a generational thing. There is a saying in Hindi, "Pata nahi tha kya aane wala hai, nahi to kabhi nahi jate." So that also worked for me, I guess, because the tech industry is really, really fascinating. It's a different kind of a beast. Let me just begin by saying that for me, it was always a job that needs to be done, maybe a hurdle that needs to be overcome, or a challenge that needs to be tackled. And sometimes we get very caught in these rhetoric questions. Oh, am I going the right way? I studied X, but I'm doing Y. And, what is my KPI and stuff like that? I'm going to be very honest with you. I think, yes, it's good to assess those, but at the right time and not all the time. So sometimes, you miss the forest looking at the bushes, right? So you're like, oh my God, what happened there? So in fact, it is funny. Like, I've never thought of work as a single dimensional and a function of a pedigree, a role, a department, position, domain, or skill set. I think I would love to give this analogy that I'm a homemaker, which is probably the most responsible, multidimensional, precision-oriented, skilled, time-sensitive, cross-functional, like I've seen, job that mankind has ever seen, right? So I guess everything else is easy.
Yeah, that sums it up. And then be a homemaker and be a mother, and then that kind of just makes you this super cross-functional multitasking queen, right? Like, awesome. Okay. So I love the fact. So one thing I do agree is that personally also this sometimes getting caught up in the narrative of,
Yeah.
am I doing enough? So personally, that's something which I think I come back to. And this overthinking, which I also call as the overthinking syndrome, which we all have, that am I capable? Am I doing the right thing, etc. I think that just comes in the way of many things. And maybe that's something which we all want to go back and not think too much about, just go and do your job and do that.
And also, I think the tech industry is filled with very simple people, really. And sometimes the most complex things are the simplest things. It is very hard to make a very simple design, right? Like just one button with one action item. It's very hard to do that. And in tech, what I've realized is that it's very fluid. It's very logic driven. Once you give away your, your walls, your appearances, your perception, and you just continuously tend to work with logic, it is very fluid. It's like, it will scare you. It's like riding a bike or trying to learn how to swim.
Wow.
So for me, I think that was my revelation of sorts, because I was like, struggling. I was a content writer. Here I come from the world of Shakespeare and Chaucer and,
What happened? When did that moment happen when you were like, dude, I think I love what this beast is?
For me, I think, and some of the people here, at least at Swaraj, I know. So I am a very literature loving, book reading, painting kind of a person, but tech is the same. It's a lot of, so, I used to think that I'm a very practical person, abstract doesn't work for me. I suck at maths. And then somebody told me that maths is probably the most abstract thing in the world. And that kind of hit me because, I think I was not judging myself properly. And then when I went into this is like, for example, if you're designing a product, it's like a symphony, right?
Wow.
You're painting a picture. For example, let's just say a payments app, right? Now that's
I
a
am
symphony.
looking at you right now with like, I'm mesmerized. Okay, do tell. So a payments app.
Yeah. So for example, if there is a payments app and you're drawing the whole flow, you are actually influencing thousands of people to function in a particular way that you want them to. That's symphony, right? But with solid logic. So I think that's the parallel that kind of drew me to this, because it's a culmination. Tech is a culmination of everything. It is marketing, it is content, it's literature, it's art, it's history, it's context, your behavior, your patterns, your gender, your socioeconomic class and credence. So it's a sum total of everything. Like, ultimately tech cannot function in silos, right? It has to work with society.
Right.
So that's where sociology is, right there.
Awesome. So I'm someone who actually has not looked at tech like that. The way I tell everyone, hey, look at finances in a certain way. I think right now that's what's really opening my eyes to this, that I should maybe like just look at this differently. And maybe I've been someone who's been saying, hey, I don't think this is my space, right? Like guilty.
No,
thank you so much.
No, because it's I guess product and design engineering especially is one of the most humblest of the jobs that's there. Because imagine your doodwala is doing Paytm, right? Or your bhajiwala is sending you WhatsApp messages or voice recording. Now, yeah, they could be made by premier engineers from premier institutes, but it's really common sense and it's really logic. So I think this concept of women are scared of technology, it's very cliched, because it's a lot of social conditioning and perception.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Do you think that, so what's happening there? Why are we feeling this? What do you think?
And I'm guilty too, for probably the longest time, at least when I was younger, I used to be like, oh, I don't know maths, I suck at technology.
True.
Yeah.
And
I think we were talking about finance, and that's one of the biggest reasons why women, they don't want to do banking work, they don't want to sign checks, they don't want to look at public funds and mutual funds and things like that.
Talk about our struggle. We're sitting up in the same boat. Yes.
Or
what's happening? So you're saying basically that this is easy, okay, and this is just a barrier. But where is this barrier coming from?
So I think it's a lot of social conditioning, like I said, like the most logical species. I mean, think about it. We tackle 100 things, okay, since we were born. Okay, naturally, our bodies are complex, our thinking is more complex, the kind of work that we do is more complex. So our logical thinking is actually way more advanced. However, if you look at the media or your parents or your relatives, or even women amongst themselves, peer groups, they don't want to think, unilaterally. Men are good at lateral thinking, but we are very good at non-linear thinking. Right? There are 100 things that we can think about together. But, women will always be thinking about, oh, work is glamour, or, good girls don't know maths. There is a knight in shining armor. So there is this social conditioning, right? And knowing tech or knowing finance means independent women who are kind of scary. So should I conform to that? So there is a lot of social conditioning at play here. But mentally and physically, let me assure you, there's nothing wrong with us.
We are just fine. we are exactly like you, and trust me, like I do like wearing lipstick sometimes. So that's
of course, why not? But So it's like, if you're driving on the road, and I say this myself, if somebody's not driving properly, you say, oh, lady chala rahi hogi.
Woman driver hogi, dhyan se dekhna.
But we tend to do this, and believe me, you can drive so well, and there are women driving really well, but that's the conditioning we have. Oh, nahi, hame nahi aa sakta gaadi chalana.
Absolutely. So it's a matter of conditioning. Jo mera takeaway hai from today, that this whole tech, see the way I talk about it, this whole tech world, which I also say, listen, but I think Parda Fash, I'm going to actively work on this. But I want to know from you, was there, two things actually, curious. So was there an aha moment for you in the journey at one point? Was that something which happened? And the second one, which I want to know from you, is also more about the number of women you see around yourself in tech. So these two things, and I'm going to leave the floor back to you.
Yeah, so for that, let me start with a little more context. At least back in the days, I started my career, I don't know, 20, 25 odd years now. So in the companies that I worked, and even in my current company, you would see women in all the other departments, always. The secretary would always be a woman. That was like that thing. Senior people in cabins, and they would have one secretary sitting outside. Right. And then slowly the glass ceiling kind of gave away. And then, you would start seeing women in HR, in marketing, in sales, in PR, but never in tech.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Of course, we don't think about it all the time like that, but why?
Yeah.
The departments that really mattered never had women.
Yeah. True.
So I used to work in a manufacturing company, a conglomerate which had a lot of different products, but you would never see a woman on the factory floor. Or, in the engineering part of it, or the manufacturing part of it, hard hat area, women. So much so that, initially when I would go for site visits, there were no washrooms.
Yeah.
It was like, tum kyun ho yahan pe?
तुम्हारे लिए सोचा ही नहीं था.
Yeah, so
we did not plan for this. Yes,
and it was really sad, and me included. We had to model ourselves as women who have somehow become men. So we used to replicate the men and try to work as men. You've heard this. Ki,
yeah.
Ye to ladki nahi hai, ladka hai.
What do you feel about that?
Oh, that's so weird. What does that even mean? Main ladka kyun hu?
No, for many years as young girls, we used to hear this all the time as well. And it is actually much later that I thought about it, frankly. At that time, you didn't give it much thought. You said, chalo, theek hai. Till the time.
But at some point, you would, because you were conditioned like that, you would also enjoy it, because being a ladka meant you were defying, you were,
yes.
Acting
out. You
were
fighting for what you wanted.
Exactly. So
today I look back and I'm like, what was going on? Today we are saying women should be, playing on our strengths, which are our innate strengths, like what you mentioned, right? The ability to be the non-linear way that we think, the ability to handle so many complex conversation situations. But I think it's a journey, Anindita, for us also to kind of own it somewhere.
I used to be very ashamed, if I had to say that. I would always model myself on men. So subconsciously in my mind, I was actually a guy working there. It was after many, many years of work and, leaving aside the prejudices, that I realized that I have different skill sets, dude. And the biggest skill set that I have is common sense. Yes, the most uncommon thing available in this world.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have like different approaches. I have a higher emotional quotient. Okay, which is very important if you're designing tech for everybody in this world. I have empathy, which is very important for a product designer. Okay. I'll give you a simple example. Like, you have these buttons on an app. Now, there's a concept of fat fingers. Okay. So, like people, fat thumb, fat fingers, and you're somehow
That's
not
actually
able
a concept, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
So So you have to take care of that fat finger process or problem. But that's common sense and that's empathy.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So see, we bring a different kind of skill set to design, to engineering, to everyday life. We are more accountable, we are more dependable, we are more diligent, multitasking. And you know what? Guess what? The half of the human ecosystem belongs to us too, dude. So it can't be what you decide. It also has to be what we decide, right? And we can't replicate or clone you. That mistake is completely on us, Neha. I will not blame the men for this.
Yeah, I am with you on this one. I'm with
So
you. So I also feel like if putting it in context of what we also do when it comes to finances, we come across many times women who feel so that, oh, I've not been given, there's no transparency and I have no clue, etc. Like there is this sense that I'm the victim here, where we have to have this conversation with them that, maybe you need to be asking some better questions. Maybe you need to be opening up this Pandora's box for yourself. And maybe it's time to reflect inwards as well. Right?
Agreed. Absolutely. It's like, for example, let me just ask you, right? Like the groceries in your house, for example.
Yeah.
Okay. Women are buying it. So why are men designing tech products for you?
No idea. No clue.
Right?
No clue.
So
I am coming across women-focused healthcare platforms, women-focused financial platforms designed by men. And
exactly.
it always leaves a little smile on my face. And I'm wondering, like, are they really getting it? Are they really getting it?
No, they don't, and there are so many assumptions that they make, like, food ordering apps, payment apps, kirane wale ka app, they have no freaking clue because we did not build the other half of the ecosystem, of the human ecosystem well enough, which had a voice. And that's entirely on us because we were so busy cloning them.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But Anindita, at some point in your career, I want to know, because at one point, one senior of mine at work mentioned this concept of sponsorship. Like he told me that it's not just important, Neha, that you build mentors, because I only knew about the word mentors then. He said you need to build promoters and sponsors for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to ask you that at some point, did you kind of build this consciously, or what happened? Like, were there people around you who were already sponsors for you? What is going on?
No, so, let me go back to your last question, Neha, where you said, what was your aha moment?
Yeah.
So this context that I built is, of course, in my current company, my CEO, Birut Seth, he's obviously a serial entrepreneur, and he's very fast paced. He's based in the Silicon Valley. And I was a bit of a dreamer and a drifter, so I would go to him and say, oh, now this happened, now that happened, and now I'm complaining. Am I even worth it? So I would ask all these silly questions, all the time, looking for self-affirmation and some. So he's like, what are you really expecting out of me? Okay, I mean, what did you expect? I'm going to come here and handhold you and save you from the world so that you can design for me. What were you expecting?
Wow.
Right? So, and he said, and why do you keep whining about the fact that you're a woman and, blah? I don't understand. Are you capable or not? That's my question. Okay. And can you break the glass ceiling? Okay. Have you, and he gave me this analogy. He told me that, there are bullies in school, right? They keep bullying you unless you stand up and you firmly say, stop bullying me. So he said, I can't fight your fight. The fight is in your mind because you are constantly fighting with the fact that you're a woman.
Yeah.
And he said, if you are already going into the battlefield thinking you're inferior because you're a woman, for once, can you stop thinking that you're a woman? And can you tell me whether you are capable or not? Because if you're not capable, I have no room for you. And even if you don't know something, are you willing to learn or not? Because if you're not, then I have no space for you. So now the joke like I joke with Birud after many, many years. I'm like, Birud, even if I were a tree or a dog, you didn't care. He's like, yeah, as long as you had the capability. I mean,
Are you capable? Doesn't matter. But I think that's the kind of hard-hitting conversations sometimes we need to have with very important people, be it in our career, even in our personal space. Sometimes we can find those voices, who will just say, listen, focus on the job that you need to do, build your skills, and you're going to fight the bullies wherever you kind of meet them, if that's the end goal.
Your last and this current question is very connected. So when Birut said that to me, I was aghast, like I took 2 days of leave. And I was like, what the hell is going on? I'm working for this man and I'm trying to figure out ways. I don't understand tech. I'm a content writer. I want to write a novel in my life. That's my ultimate aim. I don't know. And then it hit me. And then I realized the biggest aha for me was, in my mind, I was thinking I'm a woman. And I want to take a little pause here, because to all my friends here who are listening, and I may not be much, but believe me, guys, the moment I stopped thinking that, and tech space, amazingly, is a very gender neutral place. Okay, people don't care a shit. They don't care who you are. As long as you are in a hoodie, you don't look too nice or glamorous, they're fine. The moment you start looking nice, they get a little scared. No, I'm just kidding. That's not true, but they don't get. So it's a very gender neutral place, and you are bringing that prejudice here. They are not. So you have to overcome that prejudice. You have to encourage talent, not people. Okay, it doesn't matter. Male, female, mix, doesn't want to reveal, doesn't matter. It's talent. Because everything is KPI driven. Is it serving the purpose? Is this person growing? Are you a good sponsor? And don't only expect the award, right? You have to expect everything with it. So the moment you surrender to that, then it becomes easy. And therefore, even now, if I am a sponsor, today I'm a sponsor for a few people, I keep telling this, that how's that my problem? You came here, you wanted to work. So let's get real, okay? Humble, hungry, and real. So my recommendation is that please look for a sponsor who can think of on these lines and help you with that. Because that's how you build your community. That's how you build your future workforce. You mentor people, you sponsor people.
I'm absorbing all of this. I will have to pull out my diary. Sorry, I'm making notes now.
No, but I mean,
but I'm serious. I love that, right? Humble, hungry, and real. Like, just keep working on that and find yourself someone who gets that and who's able to nurture you in a way where you constantly are reminded to stay humble, hungry, to do more and be real to who you are.
Absolutely. Because, if you keep whining to your sponsor saying, oh, but I'm a woman, I'm trying to cut through some barriers in tech, and they'll be like, where are the barriers? In fact, there is more opportunity, if anything.
Wow. But what about more women around you? So this is something which happened, but do you see this shift happening in workplaces, in communities, especially in the tech community?
Well, of course, in my journey, I've made some amazing women friends in similar areas. And I have seen that their journeys are similar. Like I have friends in, for example, Meta or Amazon or, what have yous, wherever. Like, you name a company, Salesforce, Facebook. The journeys are similar, but the paths are opening now, because women have finally learned to be their friends. Because, I may sound a little cliche, but we are our worst enemies. Believe it or not, men are very open. They are not complex thinkers like us. We are those Shadyantra types, Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi with background music. So, but men are not. They're remarkably simple if you understand them. and we have to become our biggest sponsors. You know, you are growing, get some women to grow with you. Right?
Yeah, that I agree. Yes.
So yes, their journeys have been similar. Like you said, you know, make mentors or sponsors who are like higher in the mind field than you, who are neutral, who have this wisdom and the tenacity to see the future. You know, they can shape your future. They help you to survive, and they don't teach you politics. I think politics is the biggest bane, because a lot of women get stuck in this whole barrier. But trust me, politics doesn't work in tech.
Did you ever get stuck somewhere?
Well, for me, not many women were around, but it's a very appealing place because, you know, in tech, surprisingly, tech is very away from this, because it's really your codes and your designs and your functions, and the techies don't get it. But if you open the doors, you know, it's going to get very complex. So yes, you should totally, completely stay away from politics. Let your talent speak. Humble, hungry, responsible, and focused. That's the mantra, basically. So yeah, I've of course made a lot of friends on the way, and I also have a lot of women in my team, you know, not only in India, internationally. I have women leading my teams in Mexico, in Turkey, in Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, right, in the US. So I think I feel much at ease that they are there, because they are intrinsically, like I said, empathetic, responsible, you know. So of course, I promote them. And another thing which I think I find a synergy here, which drew me to your forum, is women from smaller towns and cities.
Yeah.
They are, you know, and when I say smaller towns, please don't get me the wrong way, because trust me, they are way more advanced than you in me, Neha.
Yeah.
This is the TikTok crowd. This is the YouTube short reels generation.
Yeah.
Okay. They are very adept with technology. Their expression of freedom is to consume and to grow higher in life. They have realized the importance of education. Of course, they have also realized the importance of glamour and stardom, but there are many, many such women. And I see amazing engineers coming out. Amazing is not the word. Engineers, women coders, quality assurance. So if you come to my team, there are coders, there are QA people, there are implementers who are all women, and they are doing so well. So of course, you have to nurture talent from smaller cities, smaller towns. Because, you know, in the bigger towns, I don't know, for some strange reason, and that happens with us also. I mean, in my family, the kids, they're so well-oiled and cushioned, you know, so they don't have that hunger.
I agree.
So they want to like,
it's a hunger thing.
Yes, it's a hunger thing. And
whereas we all were hungry when we started our careers, I think that for sure, I agree with you. Whenever even we are talking, conversing with women, irrespective of towns now, you can see the drive to be independent is so much more in the women who are coming from smaller, what we think, right? Tier 2, tier 3, but they are just fighting for their place in life. They want to be whatever it is that they want to be. And I feel like
and you know, while see, pedigree may be important, but trust me, I have no pedigree. So it's really logic driven. So, and I invest in the lesser known universities. I go and hire talent. Of course, I go for hiring in the premier A grade colleges in India, but I also go to these small towns. I get students. There is a remarkable difference. The fire in their stomach to succeed is amazing. And the women are just waiting for that opportunity. And if you can, like, especially STEM workshops, you know, I've done a few myself, and they take to technology like, you know, a moth to the fire, to the flames, because robotics, for example, women are excelling in it. Okay. They are building models. They're working on AI. It's fascinating. And the only reason, I think the primary reason is, Neha, because Tech cannot be done in a silo. It is connected with society, and we are the motherhood of society. Okay, we create generations, communities. Like, there's a saying, if there is a child who's not doing something properly, the first thing they will say, "Maa ne kuch nahi sikhaya." They never say, "Papa ne kuch nahi sikhaya."
Now I'm in a public forum, so I'm not going to say anything. But I think one-on-one, we can have a nice hearty laugh on that one. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So taking it further, so if we are the ones who have to teach everything, how can we be far from tech, which is enabling so many dimensions of our life? And it's a natural thing. I mean, if we are the ones who are doing it, we have the natural skills for it. It's just a matter of time. You can't keep us away from tech.
I agree. So on that note, I'm also going to invite Shrestha, the real Shrestha. Will you please stand up?
Yeah, I think only my video is on, so I think.
Yes, so the real Shrestha had a few questions which she wanted to ask you as well, Anindita. So the floor is yours.
Yeah. So Anindita, talking about hacking such high growth careers, when I have been speaking with other women, they had experiences at their workplace when they were overlooked, cornered, or they felt like that. I mean, at your workplace, have you ever felt like that, or what did you do that time? What did you feel?
Yes, of course. Unfortunately, these incidents keep happening. After a time, after a point, you become immune to them. But I would like to think that I myself would probably have had something to do with it. It is also my underconfidence, or my hesitance that could have triggered a few things. Because sometimes, if like, I'll tell you, somebody wanted me to go visit Russia. Okay, the first thing I said, oh my God, how does one go to Russia? Okay. Now, if I'm saying that, well, obviously you're going to miss the opportunity, right? I remember once I was supposed to go to China. Now, obviously, going to China from India is a task, right? So if you're going to Shenzhen, you have to change a couple of flights, and it's like, aaj sham ko bataya, tomorrow you have to go to China. So the first thing you think is, oh my God, abhi ghar kaisa hoga, something, other packing. As a woman, we tend to think of these things, and you miss the opportunity. Now, if you go and say, oh, well, he could have told me earlier and I could have gone and something, well, it was because of you, right? Because there was hesitance in your eyes and you were thinking of other things which were not related to work, right? So yes, I think 50 to 60% of the time, it is because of you. The other 40, 60% may not be because of you. But you should take it with a pinch of salt, because ultimately, believe me, Shrestha and Neha, it is talent that always shines. Even when you're growing, like Gupshup, I'll tell you, last year we were 150 people. Today we are 1,500 people. So suddenly there were new people coming. Everything was like, we are still going crazy right now. But you have to leave it. If you have it, it will come back to you.
That's wonderful to hear. I think, there's a lot of courage when you speak. I mean, it has not come in a day, I'm sure. It has come through several days of meditative practices, I feel, almost at your workplace, at home, that you have come so far. So, would you like to share top 2-3 things to our community and to the women who are facing such challenges of how to navigate when they feel overlooked, they feel underconfident, they feel, they are not at the right place? What would you like to?
First and foremost, you have to commit yourself completely. Because I think the issue starts from there. All this hesitation and, see, I'll give you a simple example. You go to work, it's a regular day. Your boss calls you and says, हाँ अभी चले जाओ कोलाबा, मीटिंग करके 2 मीटिंग करके उधर पहुंच जाना somewhere. The guy will say, yeah, whatever. What do we do? Meeting, okay, 2 meetings, how far is it? Okay, what time will we reach home? My kid, khana banane wali, bhai will come, what is going to happen, right? You think of these things. right? So where is that commitment? So see, that is something that you need to work on. Yes, there has to be a work-life balance, but if you are trying to grow, and there are certain circumstances where of course you should say no when it is important, but the general thought process, and I had it, okay, and it's a personal opinion, but I always, the first thing I would think is, acha, udhar se to time lag jayega, something is going to happen. Yeah, you think of these things. So that commitment level is not 100%. So first, decide what you want to commit to, how good your commitment should be, and how would you like people to perceive you, as a clone for a man or as a woman with unique capabilities. Don't try to replicate what they are doing. Trust me, whenever I've been to hundreds of meetings where I'm the only woman, and I don't speak about anything that they're speaking about, because none of that makes sense. So please hold on to that individuality. Okay, it's very important, because if you think that it is right, it is common sense driven, please have the courage to say it. Do not conform to yesism. Okay. And the third thing is, make friends with men as well. Okay. They are not out there to kill you. Because many of my best friends, my mentors, my, friends that I can rely on, my confidants, they're men. And they have wonderful confidence. So don't go with violence in your mind. Oh, just because you're a man, just because you're a man. No. Okay. So I think these are some of the things. And of course, please give. Do not keep taking. Please, it's important. Please give. Because when you give, believe me, the glory and the satisfaction, the warmth in your heart that you feel is above any promotion or any, quick wonders that you make over your counterparts. Right? I think that's probably my message to all of you, because I'm sure you guys are fantastic in whatever you're doing. I mean, this is from my personal experience. Absolutely.
I think that's wonderful. And I think, a commitment, being yourself, giving, everything makes so much sense now. And the way you have spoken, I mean, it's not so complex. It is, if we try, if we come ahead, then I think it is simple enough. If we just try once and see what it takes us to be there. Talking about that, Anindita, the one thing you agreed to come to this session and to talk to the entire crowd was because you like Small Towns Big Dream Scholarship, the scholarship that encourages students from low income rural background to be in STEM. So what are the other things that you actually liked about this scholarship, and you thought that you should be a patron of it?
Yeah, Shishta, of course, I would like you to show the demo at some point. That's for sure.
Yeah,
if you have a demo.
I will.
But I think the biggest point is that this is where it gets real. Having a few art shows or talk shows in very glamorous setups, and yeah, you attend those too, and probably they're important, but you have to go to the base to work. And when we say, ki acha social work karenge, so we have this hazy idea of giving some money somewhere and some gaon, but there is no precision. We don't know what the ROI is. And as women, as professional women, we have to keep thinking about ROI, even if it is social work. Otherwise, it's never going to be successful. So what really is the ROI? And you've hit the nail on the target, because women, younger girls, little girls, if that social conditioning has to move. Okay, like girls don't play football. Now, that was a stupid social conditioning. To break that, you would always, in movies and ads, it was always the guy playing and the girl always watching. Why? So to break that, you have to start really early. Right? And you guys are doing exactly that. You have to bring young girls into this fold, into this STEM education, pivoting their thought process. They have to pivot themselves. They have to start thinking about tech in the social like, when they're using tech, it comes naturally to them, right? Like TikTok, or WhatsApp, video calling kar rahe hain, whatever. So why not build? How different can that be?
Yeah, and I think, Anindita, when we started this scholarship and we were thinking about it, we found out that at entry level, like graduation, there is only 19% of women representation in tech, as this scholarship is specifically for IIT and NIT graduates. I mean, who are reading at IITs and NITs. And this is for those students, girl students who are from rural, low-income background. And as part of the scholarship, we thought of not only funding them, but equipping them with the exposure that they have missed in their journey. Equipping them with counseling services, other kinds of career guidances, and any kind of help that they'll need to actually crack a very good, satisfying, high-paying job at the end of 4 years, I would say. And all the contributions that come to this scholarship is managed by a organization called Youth Dreamers Foundation, and they are all tax benefits. They give tax benefits as well. And right now we are at a stage where we are spreading the word, and we are urging and requesting everyone to support us in growing, and then trying to give more and more girl students that benefit to be in tech, and to give that benefit right from the entry level, right from the graduation, in terms of funding, in terms of counseling service, in terms of career guidance. So I think Neha would be able to talk more about it.
But before I jump to that, Anindita, there's some questions coming in specifically for the conversation we're having. I'm going to pick those, and then we're going to talk a little bit to everybody about the scholarship and how that's functioning as well. I have a beautiful question from Rachna, who says, how to deal with unconscious biases in workplace? Some management decisions really affect us and drain our self-confidence and self-esteem. So any ideas, tips, hacks, whatever it is?
Yeah, I think every time this happens, okay, instead of taking the negativity, at least that's what I used to do. And believe me, I have been beaten, rightfully, not so rightfully. I've gone back and I've actually relooked at what makes my self-esteem and confidence. Sometimes we have very different notions about self-esteem and confidence. Just say simple, like if my friend here, she's asked me this question. Somebody gets the project. So you're like, what is the purpose of it? Self-esteem is because somebody should not have got the project and it should have been yours. Well, there's so much more to do. एक प्रोजेक्ट नहीं मिला तो क्या आप आंसू बहा दोगे क्या? मतलब क्या करोगे? कोप भवन में चले जाओगे? It's okay. There's so much more to do. कुछ और कर लो.
And chill भी है. I think थोड़ा chill भी है.
Exactly. I mean, क्या होता है ना? Now see, somebody else has got the project, or somebody else is traveling. You did not get to go to the conference, or you did not get the promotion. दुखता है. Yes. ठीक है, but कहीं ना कहीं you were also responsible, ना यार? मतलब Newton's third law of motion, right? Everything has an equal and opposite reaction. So आपने भी कुछ तो किया होगा, maybe 5%. So give credit to that and move on in life. क्या होगा? आपका blood pressure खराब होगा. आप तो नहीं जाओगे अब. आपका promotion तो नहीं होगा ये साल. So why are you raising your blood pressure? Why are you fighting at home? Frustration मत करो. Movie देखो, कहीं dinner करो. Enjoy yourself. And the moment people...
Overthinking, say, and then focus maybe on some points where you feel कि हाँ थोड़ा area of improvement है.
You know what? People notice this change. When your feathers are not ruffled, and the reason why I'm telling you this is the moment you show that your feathers are not ruffled, because you have immense confidence in yourself, the wheels turn.
Beautiful.
The moment you're like all shaky and nahi, mujhe chahiye tha, ye tha, wo tha, people are like, oh my God, this is one opportunist. But the moment
you handle kaise karenge is also another thing I've heard from managers. कि यार इसको handle करना बड़ा मुश्किल है.
Exactly, because this is like a nervous bundle of energy, right? But the moment you're like solid like a rock and, you're like confident, you're like, okay, there are more opportunities coming. People see that. And that's very important. I hope I've been able to answer that question. There's no real right or wrong answer, but I can only share my experience.
Lovely. Love that one. Another question here. How do we build a mentor network or a sponsor network? Any tips and tricks? Favorite?
Yeah, it depends on where you're working. If you're in tech, it is very easy because, there are hardly any. Of course, the number is growing now, but there are forums like this. My friend Neha here, she has a beautiful forum. There are other forums as well. I think IEMI or somebody, and then Fiki, these guys also have women forums. There are a lot of women in tech kind of forums where you can reach out, you can seek them. You can get mentorship, you can ask for internships, all of that. And I'd be happy to help if there is something that I can help you with.
And I can add something here. So from my perspective on this one is that I've learned that it's just about go and write to that person. If you've heard about them, you've seen them, you found that you like what they're doing on LinkedIn, just write. I've come across so many people who have sometimes reached out to me, and I'm happy to have that 20-minute, 30-minute conversation if that helps someone. The way, Anindita said that there is a segment of people who truly want to give. So I think overthinking again in this area doesn't help. And you'll not find the first mentor. The next question is say almost like that, you find these ladies on TED, they're giving these great speeches. And when you approach them offline, they behave like bitch in fairy tales. I mean, let's be honest. I think thoda sa benefit of doubt bhi dena chahiye. Not everyone has, is anti you. Sometimes maybe they just don't have the bandwidth, or it's just honestly somewhere maybe they can't add value. So I would like to think of it like that. And Ananta, what would you feel about it?
Like I said, I think I mentioned during my course of conversation that we ourselves are our biggest enemies. We kind of stifle the room for opportunity. I would like to say that behind every successful woman, there is a man, not a woman. Yes. So I accept it. You're right to some extent. Sometimes, like Neha mentioned, it's genuine. Maybe they're traveling. Maybe they're very, very busy because, as a woman, you have to try twice that much. But most of the times, I have had the good experience of hearing back from them. And if your questions are really solid and have logic, trust me, you will get the response. But if you ask them questions like, is it possible for you to mentor me? Yeah, what does that really mean? What do you want?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree to that. I think maybe you need to work a little harder in figuring out what is it that you really want from this person. Make their time also worth it, right? To want to respond to you. So I think that would be a very good.
Yeah, for example, if somebody says, I want to be a mentor, I want you to be my mentor, versus if somebody can come and say, I want to learn more about agile product designing and how women can contribute to that. Well, that's a good question I can work with, right?
True, absolutely. So I think that would be, I would absolutely agree to that one. All right. We have one raised hand for a while. I don't know if that's genuinely raised. या वो सिर्फ एक button दबा हुआ है. So in case you actually raised it, please feel free to ask the question if not already asked. Otherwise, we move on to a small town, big dream scholarship.
Yes.
Okay, so since I haven't heard from the raised hand.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, I'm Preeti here actually. So long time I'm waiting for. So actually I have joined late to this class, this Zoom session, but I really wanted to know like what is the purpose exactly? You're going to give some classes, training or some courses on that regarding hacking or something like that. I wanted to really, I'm very curious about it actually.
Awesome. So we've already answered, Preeti, your question is already answered in the chat box. Have a look at that. So we're not doing any courses on hanging. Right. So have a look at that, please. We're talking about the journey, Anindita's journey, where she's built a career in tech from non-tech. And this is more about if you have gone through the conversation, if you have any questions for your career, where you might be struggling to kind of move forward in your career, feel free to use this forum to ask any question on that front. So that's what we're doing here. So feel free to put down a question in the chat box. And maybe you can go over the recording later. We'll put that up on YouTube. You can have a look at the conversation which has happened. Right?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. So Shresha, let's jump on to our small towns, big dreams for everyone who's watching in. So my connection with this is exactly the way Anindita said. Why I absolutely fell in love with this concept and idea was the ROI piece. I have so many women around me who love giving, including my own mother, including my family members who are very active in giving to someone around them, house help, somebody has some other NGO, etc., etc. But really, when we give in a way that it can actually result in a change, is why this scholarship means so much. So, Shrestha, if you could run everyone through how we're running this, what's the background check, what is the kind of support that we're providing in the scholarship.
Yeah. So as I said that, we have a very rigorous quantitative and qualitative screening process of deserving girls from rural low-income background who has gotten into IIT and NIT. And as part of our services, we give them their funds, I mean the tuition fees, the accommodation and everything that they need. Apart from this, they also have one-to-one personal coaching and group developmental sessions with them. Apart from that, we also help them in their career choices, internships, whenever they are at that stage of their careers. And the entire aim is that, the exposure that they have missed or the opportunities that they have missed so far, like before, we help them to leapfrog and get a very good starting at the end of 4 years is what we are trying to do right now. And communities like Womoneysta and Impactis actually helps to reach out to more people and also helps with technology. I mean, it's a technology platform through which the donors and the scholars, everyone meets at the same platform. I would like to quickly run through the giving aspect and I'll just
Shrestha, you might want to, yeah.
So this is the page. If you land at impactisglobal.com, Rasika, if you can just give the link there in the chat box. So if you land on this page, you can see that there's information about the scholarship. There are the monthly reports and the sessions that we have done so far. You have to just click on know more. Once you click on know more, you get the entire information about the scholarship. Right from, we have a very candid video from Neha on what she thinks small town big dreams is for her, Womoneysta small town big dreams, and whatever we do is there in this entire web page. And if you want to give, I mean, you can start with as small as 500 rupees. And if you want to give, you can click on contribute. And it is very simple. You can choose a one-time payment, a monthly subscription, or a yearly one. There are some indicative amounts there, but you can really start with any amount as small as 500. And then after you do so, you can subscribe for 12 months, 24 months, whatever is feasible for you. You can write the reason for which you are inspired to give for the scholarship. And then you are told to fill a form and then you pay now. So I'll just fill this form quickly. I already have my addresses and everything given here, so it's not a problem. So you just give your phone number, you give your PAN, and you click on Pay Now. And you have to also say that you have an account in India or an NRI account.
Shrestha, what about the ATG benefits? If you could highlight that as well.
Yes, so
Yeah.
all contributions get ATG tax benefits as per the rules of income tax department. So you get all of those. Yeah.
Awesome. So my closing words is that we started this series with Anindita at Women at Work with one single motive, that we want to talk more about women in technology, women who are doing well, and how we can start having this conversation so that more young women at a stage like having got the admission to an IIT, right, which itself is a very hard task. Now having them get ready for them to be able to move into the workforce and truly make a difference. These conversations might help all of you to, hack your own career. At the same time, also thinking or keeping this one little thought in mind, that that small contribution, that you foregoing that one little meal at Swiggy today, which might be worth 500 rupees, could actually be a mindful way of getting a young girl who really needs to get that support to be able to create an intergenerational change. That's the power of this scholarship, truly. And we're going to keep coming back with more such conversations. Thank you so much, Anindita, for doing this. It was truly wonderful. And I also want to, move out of this tech wala barrier, which is coming in my way. So I'm going to write to you for that.
No, I think it was my pleasure. This is a fantastic team. I had a lovely, wonderful time chatting with all of you. I'm super accessible. If there is anything I can do to make tech easier for all of you here, and anything to get these deserving girls a little more, I would be happy to do that. And thank you so much for this lovely evening.
Thank you. Thank you. The pleasure was totally ours. Everyone who's listening in, please do share feedback. There's a feedback form which is shared, which will also be sent to you through WhatsApp or email, just to let us know what you feel and whether we should be continuing, what more do you want us to talk about, and we'll do our best to kind of make this a successful initiative. So thank you, everyone, for the lovely time you all have given. Thank you, Anindita, once again. We'll stay in touch. And thanks, Team Impactis, for putting this whole thing together. You guys rock.
Thank you so much, Neha, for facilitating this. For everyone, if you have liked our session, to show that a token of appreciation, there is a link in the chat. Please share your feedback, and also there's a contribute link in the chat as well. So if you feel like giving, you can start doing it right now.
All right, let's get started. And I hope to see you all soon one more time. Bye-bye. Thank you, Anindita. See you guys.
Bye and good night.
Bye.